Welcome at today's TED Talk. My name is Vincent, and today I want to show you some basic principles of Stoicism that can help to become a better human being. So, if I ask who wants to better their own life, or who wants to better their own person as a human being, I think we can agree that most would want to do so. And so did I. And so do many people all the time. Today I want to show some principles that Marcus Aurelius states in his book, The Meditations. Marcus Aurelius was a former Roman emperor. He lived 2000 years ago, and he wrote a sort of diary, or it was more of a journaling process, and his writings survived until today. Already sold millions of copies, translated in more than 20 languages, and it inspires, including myself, many people today. So I want to talk about 3 topics, and in the end I want to state some rules I try to live by. First, I want to give a really small crash course about what Stoicism actually is. So Stoicism was founded more than 2000 years ago by Zeno of Citium. He stranded in Athens. He learned from other philosophers, and ultimately he started his own philosophy school named Stoicism. The name Stoicism comes from Stoa, which means open market. And this is really particular about Stoicism, because Stoicism wasn't invented to be taught at schools. No, it's invented to be taught at the streets, to the ordinary, normal people. You don't need to be a philosopher to practice Stoicism. In fact, Stoicism just gives you a basic theory of how to live well, how to live well. Yeah, that's basically it. So the first point I want to make is that you have to remind yourself another path is always open. Many times we find ourselves struggling when an obstacle comes in our way. We might feel thrown off, or we get depressed about it. But you have to remember yourself that there is always another path open. There is always another door that remains open. And so you don't control what happens, but you control how to respond. And that's actually a basic principle of Stoicism. So the obstacle is coming in your way, and you're not going to do anything about the obstacle itself, but you can choose how to respond. You can choose to build another way around the obstacle. You can choose to go beneath it, above it, to split the obstacle. I don't know, it's just a metaphor. So remind yourself that the obstacle is not a problem. The obstacle is there, and you have to move with it. You have to work with it. And when you're doing all of this, it's very important to remember yourself that you have to enjoy the ride. The obstacle might have pushed you in another direction, to another path, and this other path might have led you to something that you wouldn't have wanted to miss. So remember yourself, there's always another path open. Second point I want to make. Marcus Aurelius, he explains that he asks himself many times when he's doing something, is this really essential? Is what I'm doing right now really essential? So we're all very busy all the time. But how much of the things we do are actually essential? And when you ask yourself the question, we mostly find out that many things aren't that essential. My advice is try to eliminate all these things that are not essential, so you have lesser things to do, and because of that you can focus more on the things that are actually essential to you. So second point made. Then I want to move to the third point I want to make, and that is that everything you do, you have to do it step by step. Oftentimes it's quite hard to accomplish something, and it's not about the information. We often know what we have to do, but the problem actually is doing it. As Marcus Aurelius say, you could be good today, instead you choose tomorrow. And many times we hear these things like, oh, I'm gonna start a new diet, I'm going to go to the sports school, I'm going to clean the house, I wanna exercise more, I wanna start a novel that I'm gonna start tomorrow. And if it was about the information, everybody would be healthy and would have six-pack abs. Every task will be completed. We know how to do it, but we just don't do it. Stoics really believe in the discipline of action. It's not about what you say or what you think in this matter, but it's more about what you do. And Marcus say, just take the first step, step by step. And for me, this was really confronting, since I'm still struggling with it. I'm a postponer myself. So every time I find myself postponing things, I try to remember myself that I just have to do the first step, and then it will go naturally from there. So take the first step, take it step by step. You don't have to complete it at once. You will get there eventually. So this was the third point I want to make. So to conclude this all, and this is really a really small amount of all the Stoic ideas that I've read in the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, but these resemble with me a lot, so I thought they were worth sharing. So So to conclude, whatever happens, there is always another way. So don't be disturbed too much by it. Just find another path and move on. And then try to eliminate unnecessary things as much as possible, so you can focus on the things that really matter to you. And lastly, if you want to complete a goal, if you want to move towards your goal, take it step by step and just start today, and you will get there. Promise. Then in the end, now I want to give 3 principles I try to live by, and all these principles I really have learned from Marcus Aurelius, from his Meditations. And the first one is the one I discussed in my other TED Talk, and it's amor fati, which means a love of fate. A love of fate. So whatever happens to you, you probably don't have control over it. So the idea of amor fati is that the things that are happening to you are fate. They are happening anyway. So try to accept these things, and even better, to embrace or enjoy these things that are happening to you. Second point to live by. It's all about what you do for other people. So we have all different roles to play in society, but we human beings, we are social beings. We flourish in communities. And if you want to if you want to grow yourself, it's very important to let your surroundings grow as well. So if you be good to other people, if you do good things for other people, you will even elevate yourself by doing it. Last point to live by is memento mori. Don't take time for granted. Some people behave like if they are immortal, but we are all mortals. And it's very important to be aware of our mortality. As Marcus Aurelius put it, you could live life right now. Let that determine what you do, what you think, and what you say. He also says, life is short, so do everything like a dying man. Like, would you really do this if this were your last weeks to live? So it has some overlap with eliminating the non-essential things in your life. But it's also important to be aware of the fact that you only have a certain time to live, and time is still ticking. I really hope that I have, if it's only a little bit, have been able to encourage you to think differently about the. I really hope that you have learned something from it, and I hope that I have learned you to be able to go through life more easily. Like, obstacles will come in your way all the time, but you have to focus on what you can do for yourself and for the people around you. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.